Alright, so today's mission is to fit this 130cc big bore kit that I got for my NBC110. My rings are stuffed in my bike. It's got 64,000 Ks on it, and it's probably the original set. So yeah, when you ride it, it just blows heaps of smoke out the exhaust, and yeah, you've got to top it up every few rides. So thought it was about time that I probably should fix it. I thought rather than buying new rings and a standard piston and having to hone the bore for, this was 75 bucks, I thought why not. So you get your new rings, you get valve stem seals, a spark plug, new gudgeon pin, the clips that hold the gudgeon pin into the piston, get the new 54mm big bore piston, your new barrel cylinder, and your head gasket, and just your paper gasket where the barrel bolts onto the crankcase. For 75 bucks, I'm actually very impressed with the quality of this. I thought it was going to be shithouse for that price, especially being a mass-produced item. But where it counts, the inside of the bore, you can see machining marks, and it's not rough or anything, so it's actually pretty good. The piston looks nice, and the big bore ones they're a convex piston, so the top of the piston's actually a bit domed for better compression. The standard ones are concave, so they actually droop in the middle, so yeah, that'll give you more compression and more power. This putting 130cc big bore kits in those engines has been done many times, and there's heaps of videos on them. But I was watching one bloke, and he had a dyno in his shed, and he ran it up as standard, and then took the air filter out and did some air filter mods and made a bit more power doing it that way, and same with the exhaust. And then he got one of these big bore kits and fitted it, and then he went for it and made another, I think it made 7.5 horsepower standard, and then it made 8.6 or something with the big bore kit in it. And then he went for a ride and said it was way better to ride it, more power, more torque, and didn't have to drop down gears so much to just go up a small hill. But he said that the only complaint was that the engine was real vibrating, and I think that's because of the more compression that these pistons have. So what he did was he actually got another big bore kit, and he shaved the top of the piston flat, so I got rid of that part that sticks up, so it lost a little bit of compression, still more than what the standard one was, but yeah, lower the compression ratio of this kit. And he also shaved some of the material off the skirts of the piston, just to try and get the weight as close as he could to a standard weight piston. And then he weighed the gudgeon pin and then the old gudgeon pin, and ended up using the original gudgeon pin because it was lighter than the new one. So I'm just going to go straight ahead and do that because that's what worked best for him. So my old man's got a lathe at his house, so I'll probably go and get this lathe down and machine that up, and then get stuck into pulling all the fairings off the side and setting the timing chain and all that crap, and fit this kit and see how it goes.
Alright, so I thought before I install the big bore kit, I should probably take it for a somewhat decent ride, as it being a stock 110. I'm going to try and find a hill that I can go up before and then after to see if it actually made any difference installing the big bore kit to power and torque. I'll turn around and I'll try going up that hill in third, see how it goes. third. So that was third, doing 60 up that hill, and it was gradually starting to get slower. So after we put the big bore kit in, we'll come back and go up the same hills, same gear, same speed, and see if it's any different. Which it will be, but how much better? Well, we'll find out.
Alright, so got all my parts ready to go. Got the machine down piston that you would have saw. Got everything laid out that it's going to go on. Got new clutches. So they're the friction plates and they're the steel plates, and a new center drive. So I'll do the big bore kit first, and then we'll put the clutches in as well. And it's got the gasket. So I'll start stripping all the covers off. Alright, so got the head off. You see it's had a lot of oil go through it. It's all carbony and yucky. So before I chuck the head back on, I'll
try to get as much of that carbon out as I can. So pretty simple to get off. Just set the timing to top dead center. I just zip tied the chain to the cam so it doesn't fall out. And you just got these 4 bolts or 4 nuts that you take off the studs, and there the head slides straight off. So yeah, it's got heaps of carbon on it, like big chunks of it. So now to get that off, there's just another small like rubber idler gear in there. So you just take that bolt out, and then I'll pull that out, and then that should slide off. And then I'll take that's just a engine temperature sensor, and then there's another one on the other side, which is your O2 sensor. Actually, it's in the side of the head. Yeah, so that doesn't have to come out, so it's just that one. So I'll get all that off, slide that off, and we'll have a look at the new one. New piston. So I got the barrel off. It just slid straight off. So you can see that piston is pretty carboned up and yucky. And that's from all the oil being burnt around it. So I cleaned the old gasket off. Just used a screwdriver and a little razor blade and scraped it off and gave a bit of a carby clean. So that's all clean. So now there's these little gudgeon pin retaining clips in there. So you pop them out and then push the gudgeon pin out, and the piston comes off. And I'm going to reuse that gudgeon pin because it's actually lighter than the new one with the big bore kit. So I'll reuse that. So I'll get all that off, put the new piston on, new gasket on, slide the new barrel on, and start reassembling it. So that's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. So if you look, you can even see the size difference from the 130cc and then the standard 110. And you can also see that this one actually dips down, so it's not flat, it's concave, and this one is pretty well flat at the moment, but before that was, you can see a little bit on the edge there. There's still a little bit of you see that, like that ring, and that's because that middle part is still a little bit taller. So having it pointier gives you more compression, which gives you more power, but then apparently that's what causes a bad vibration. So still more compression than standard because that one's dipped down, so I still have a bit more power because of that. But apparently machine that down, it takes some of the vibration away and lightens it up a little bit. And you can also see how much wider the skirt is. So, and you can see the difference in the new gudgeon pin and the standard one. And even when you hold them one each hand, you can actually feel the weight difference between the two of them. So the standard one still looks fine. There's no grooves or pitting or anything in it. So I'll just use that one with the new piston. So I'll just go ahead and chuck the rings on, chuck that on, and put the piston back on the conrod, and slide the new gasket on, put the new barrel on. So should be done pretty soon, and then I'll start putting the new clutches on. Got the new piston and new barrel on. Getting that piston into the barrel was a bit of a pain in the ass, trying to squish the rings with my fingers and get it to slide into the barrel. So I ended up just taking it all back off and sort of compressing the rings on the ground, like putting the barrel on the ground and then compressing the rings with my fingers and sliding it in
and then just leaving enough room to get the gudgeon pin into the conrod. So got that done. But I was cleaning all the carbon that had built up around the valves and the valve seats, and there was big chunks just built up inside the head, so I was cleaning that off. And then don't know if the camera will pick it up, but you can sort of see, well, right there, there's a little line. It's actually started to eat into the head, so there's little pit marks and it's not flat, which isn't good. And I grabbed the old head gasket and I slid it on, and even though this is supposedly, genuine Honda, the machining quality is not that great. Like, I had a screwdriver in this little lip that runs around there, because that's your combustion chamber. So I was cleaning all the carbon around there, and then you come around here and there's no lip on this side. Like, the screwdriver just falls out, and then it starts again here, and then you get to here and there's no lip. But then over here there's a lip, which there should be a lip that's all the way around. So then I put the old head gasket back on it and sort of lined all the holes up, and you can see, here the head gasket actually sits over in the combustion chamber, and then here you can see there's a gap there. So, and right where the pitting on the head is, the head gasket's really thin there, so, and you can see it, well, you can't really see it, but it has started to blow the gasket out. So, who knows how long this freaking thing's gonna last, but oh well, she be. Alright, so she's all back together. Everything's back on. I gave the rocker cover a quick paint, make it look a bit nicer. So that's the big bore kit all done. So everything's plugged back in, all good to go. But before I put oil back in it and start it, I got to put new clutches in it. So to do that, you got to take this cover off, but can't get that cover off because the foot pegs are in the way. And of course they don't just unbolt and come off. You've got to drop the whole. There's four bolts that hold the foot pegs to the engine. So I'll lay it over on its side, undo them, take the kickstarter off, which it's loose anyway, so that's probably why it wasn't working. So those splines are probably stuffed. Anyway, so I'll tip it over on its side, get off what needs to come off, and then we'll have a look inside and start pulling it apart. So got the clutch cover off. So these are your centrifugal shoes inside there, and they're your actual clutch pads inside the basket. I spent the last probably 15 minutes just trying to figure out how all this went, because when I pulled it off, all this just fell off. So been trying to figure out how that goes. I think I figured it out. I'm pretty sure that there's a dot up there, and you line that up with the little line when you put it back together like that, and then this piece, that little snout there, goes into the bearing. So you settle that up, and then you push the casing back on, and the other end of that, so it sits in there like that. And that's for your that's for the adjustment. Like you can adjust the clutch, the slipper, I think it is.
So on this side there's the nut and the bolt, and you loosen the nut and wind the thread in the middle in, and then that, when you wind it in, twist that, which loads up on that, which goes into the transmission. And I think part of it is this lever up there, which puts more tension onto something, but I'm not gonna touch that if I don't have to. So now that I figured out how it all goes, another thing you can do while you have this cover off is down in there. That's the oil filter. Well, it's not really a filter. It's a screen, and it is filthy. There's metal shavings on it too, which is good. Not, but like, look at my colour of my fingers just from touching it. So probably a good thing. Oh yeah, it's disgusting in there. Like, look at that. This thing has had a hard life, and it's probably not going to get any easier on it. But anyway, so there's another piece of metal in there that I can see. So I'll dig that out and give that screen a real good clean before it goes back together. I'll give everything a good clean, but yeah, for now, I think I've got to get that plate off, and there's a big nut behind there, and then that comes off, and then there's another nut behind that bearing, and that's to get that basket out. So I'll get all that off and figure out how it all sits together. I'm pretty sure I saw a video about when you take this off, that there's 2 gears there. The back one actually skips around, so you've got to sort of load it back up. That one had white pen on it, and the tooth's a bit different, but yeah, we'll have a closer look once I get it all off. We'll look at the new ones, and then we'll put it back together, or try to at least. So it's not looking good. That is the oil screen, like the filter. It's completely blocked with dirt and shit, and also, I don't know if you see the metal, there's the metal shaving, and then there's little metal specks all through it. There's another metal shaving in that little gallery there where it slides in, so I've got to clean that out. And you can see all that, burnt clutch material and oil and shit built up. So yeah, not good. I'll just clean that off and get all the oil out, and then hopefully it's alright. I mean, it was running fine other than the clutch slipping, which that doesn't help. So I don't know whether that's burnt clutch material or shit oil, and it's just gummed up and mixed with the slipping clutch, the burnt fragments. But yeah, there's bits of that shit everywhere. So I'll clean it all up. I got this locking nut, I guess you call it. It's not actually a nut. You need a special tool that sits in those grooves and you loosen it, but I don't have one, and I'm not afraid to use a screwdriver and a hammer. So I got that one loose, but yeah, I might have to try and find something else for in there, because I can't quite get the right angle, and I don't want to, fully stuff it. So yeah, I'll get that one off, and then I'll try and loosen that. Might have to make a tool or something to get that one off, but I don't know. So got everything off that needs to come off. So I got the nut that was holding that on, I got off with the screwdriver, but yeah, couldn't get enough angle to use the screwdriver on that part, so I needed the special tool. But my mate's dad, who works on these a lot, he had the proper tool, so I ended up just going and borrowing it off him. So yeah, it fits. The nut fits perfectly to it. So so much easier when you have the right tool. So yeah, got all that off, and all three of these things sort of have to come off in one go, so it might be a bit tricky to try and get it all back on. But the centrifugal shoes that were in there, they were fine, and I thought that's what was originally the slipping. But when you take the basket apart, this side they look alright, but then once you start pulling more out, yeah, they're real yucky, and it's full of like a clutch material's all been burnt off and stuck between them, so that'd be why they were slipping. So yeah, got all three clutch discs, and then the two steel ones, and the new centrifugal shoes. Yeah, this is what I was talking about with the teeth. It's like spring loaded, so before you put it on, you've actually got to. So they've painted them for you with the white on it, but I don't know if you can see that the teeth on the painted spline are actually, there's a little groove, and it's a lot bigger than the other one, so if the paint rubs off, you know which ones will line up, because it can go forward or back, so you need to make sure that they line up. So yeah, I'll pull all the clutches out and clean all the crap out of that and all the old oil, and then put the new clutch and steels in, and then yeah, try to hold everything and put it back together, and then yeah, pretty much it. So once that's done, I'll chuck clean the gasket off. Still to clean that filter screen and all the other parts. But yeah, once everything's clean, I'll put it all back together, put all the plastics back on, put oil on it, and then start it, see what happens. So I did have this exhaust that I made, which is just a standard exhaust, but there's a rivet there, so I put it on a metal bandsaw, cut all that out, and then just cut this tip off and got it TIG welded on, so there's no, there's still a little bit, but there's no restrictions in it. And then just cut the heat shield down, and also made the hole a bit bigger. And then also there's how they welded it together. I took a die grinder and got rid of some of that material, just to try and give it a bit more flow out and make it a little bit louder. And yeah, it is a lot louder now, almost too loud. So I'm just going to put the stand exhaust back on, because I need to get a roadworthy for it. So I'll put the standard one on, get it registered and all that, and then I'll might put that one back on and see how loud it is actually riding it, because I've only ever just idled around with that one on, and yeah, it's pretty loud. So just went through and finished putting all the new clutch parts in, and then I was just getting ready to put it on, and I went and grabbed the new hub that the centrifugal shoes go into, and I noticed that the new one is smooth and the old one, it's got grooves worn in it, and they're not massive grooves, but I'm not sure if it's meant to be like that, or if it's just over time it was originally smooth and it's worn into it, because the metal thickness is the same,
But yeah, this one just has grooves in it, so yeah, don't know, weird. Wouldn't think that it was meant to be like that, so it might have worn it out over time, so could be half the problem or all the problem. So it's all back together. Oil's all topped up, exhaust on, all the plastics are on. So let's see how it goes. So in that last part of the video, when I did the first start, seemed to be running okay, but then just started idling really high, like the throttle was stuck. I thought maybe when I undid some stuff the cable got caught, but it was all fine. So then I was like, well, I don't know, maybe it's like needed a ECU reset because I had the battery disconnected or disconnected so all the sensors off the throttle body. But I didn't know how to do that, so I just let it run for a little bit, and it was idling up and down. Then it would be normal for a little bit, then it would just randomly rev up like half throttle, and didn't know what was going on. So I got a torch in before I took the covers off, and I could see that, I don't know if you can see that it's actually, it had a vacuum leak. So that's why it was idling up, because it was sucking in air and running lean. So hopefully if I tighten those two bolts on that intake boot, it'll be fine. Alright, round 2. That's better.
So come back to the same hill. So 3rd gear, go about 60 k's. Actually put it into 4th and have it still pull up past 60k, so it definitely does help that big bore kit.
So I just got back from doing that comparison ride with the big bore kit in, and yeah, it definitely did help with more power and torque. Engine does vibrate a bit more. I think that's due to the high compression piston, so machining it down might have helped, might not have, don't know. But no, still happy with how it rides, and it's good having that torque. Like, that's the biggest killer, was because I put a bigger sprocket on the front to try and gear it up a bit, so when you're riding at 80 k's or so it's not revving as much, but then down low it didn't really have the torque to take off that quickly. So yeah, it is a lot better, but it's still blowing smoke, which I thought was all the oil built up in the exhaust. But I've been riding around for a fair bit, taking it for a few big rides, trying to burn it off and clear it all out, and it's not getting any different. So I don't think it was ever rings that was the problem. I think it was the valve stem seals in the head. So, which sucks, because I mean, I had the head off and the big bore kit came with new valve stem seals, and I just didn't think that was the issue, so I didn't bother spending the extra time putting them in. So I guess I'm going to have to pull the head off and yeah, fit them, which no biggie, it's not very hard to do it. So I'll just see if I eventually get around to doing that. But other than that, yeah, real happy with how it turned out. I might just put the louder exhaust on now that I got it all registered and on the road and it's all legal. But other than that, just keep riding it.